In the green hills of eastern Uganda, in the peaceful village of Nakisunga, life was simple. The rooster crowed before sunrise. Women swept their compounds at dawn. Men went to their gardens with hoes resting on their shoulders. Children laughed freely as they chased each other between the banana trees. But one dry season evening, a stranger walked into the village. He was tall. Bald. His eyes were sharp like someone who had seen too much. He carried only a small brown leather bag. His name was Mzee Kagoro. No one knew where he came from. No one knew his clan. No one knew his people. And he did not talk much. At first, the villagers welcomed him. In Uganda, a visitor is a blessing. They gave him food. They showed him land. They even helped him build a small hut. But something was different about him. He watched more than he spoke. Then suddenly, everything changed. Within months, Kagoro began buying land, more land than anyone in Nakisunga had ever owned. Then came the trucks. Cement. Iron sheets. Bricks. And before anyone could understand what was happening, a mansion stood in the middle of the village like a king among huts. Children stopped playing to stare at it. Old men scratched their heads in confusion. How did he become rich so fast? They whispered. Soon, Kagoro bought cattle that filled the valley. He drove a shining Toyota that coughed dust into the air as it passed. But as his wealth grew, peace began to shrink. At night, dogs howled toward his compound. The wind around his mansion felt cold, even during hot seasons. Then came the drums. Every midnight. Boom. 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 Deep drums that sounded like they were coming from under the earth. Mama Nanjala, the oldest woman in the village, sat up one night, her heart racing. That is not a drum of celebration, she whispered. That is a drum that calls spirits. But people ignored her. Until workers began disappearing. A young man who had been hired to cut grass vanished. Another who worked in the cattle shed was never seen again. Kagoro remained calm. They left for better jobs, he said smoothly. But no one had seen them leave. Fear entered Nakisunga quietly. Finally, Musa, the young school teacher, stood up beneath the big mango tree. We cannot live in fear, he said firmly. Tonight, we find the truth. And that night, under a moonless sky, Musa and a few brave youths hid in the tall grass near Kagoro's mansion. At midnight, the drums began again. Boom. 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 The gate slowly opened on its own. What they saw froze the blood in their veins. Mzee Kagoro stood in the center of his compound wearing a deep red robe. Strange white markings were drawn on the ground around him. He was chanting in a language no one understood. The air grew heavy. Cold. And around him, shadows moved. Not people. Shadows. Musa stepped back in fear and broke a dry branch. Crack. Kagoro turned. His eyes glowed like burning charcoal. The youths ran as fast as their legs could carry them. The next morning, the whole village gathered. Musa told them everything. This time, no one laughed. Mama Nanjala raised her walking stick and spoke with a trembling but powerful voice. Wealth without truth is a curse. The village moved together as one. Men. Women. Youth. Elders. They stood before Kagoro's mansion. He tried to laugh. You are jealous of my success.